So I know most of you, or I've worked with you via email, but I'm Bonnie from Academic Technology. And today I'm hosting a session on TextExpander. And we happen to have with us Mike Leasing, who actually works at TextExpander. And just to be totally upfront and honest, we get nothing if you guys end up, purchasing a license for TextExpander or anything. I've just been using it for the last 6 months, and it saved me a lot of time. And I could envision how people at Antioch could use it and save themselves a lot of time. And Mike volunteered to be here because, as you know, I'm only been using it for a few months, so I certainly don't know all the ins and outs. And I use a PC, and I think Mike has a lot of details on things, how it might work on a Mac just slightly differently, so that could be really helpful. So thanks for joining us today, and we're recording so that other people can watch it later, and you'll have access to all the links and notes. Why don't we start out with what is TextExpander? TextExpander is a tool that allows you to build snippets that expand into full text in almost any application on your PC or your Mac. And they also have a phone app. I have the phone app and the PC app. So I'm going to share my screen and show you an example of how it works. So I have my PC app here, and this is their layout. This column is the list of groups that I have set up, all personalized. And within each group, I have created snippets that allow me to type a little bit of text, and that will turn out the full text version in email, in a Google Doc, in a form, in a website, in Sakai. So for example, I've set this up so that if I want the words, a link to the remote teaching guide with the text of the URL, all I have to do is type in the abbreviation .ertg. And I'll show you when I open a new email, .ertg space, and it automatically expands. Okay, .q humankind, it expands. All right, it's a very simple tool. You create snippets and you expand snippets in all your other applications. Where it really becomes powerful is anywhere that you say something the same or similar many times. So as you guys know, we have had several updates to Sakai. And right after we update, a bunch of people email us, I can't see this or I can't see that. And the first thing I have to tell everybody is, have you tried emptying your cache and cookies? So instead of me saving all this text in a Word document and copying and pasting it out every time I need it, I've installed TextExpander and created a snippet for cache, and then I can customize it. So it's not to depersonalize everything that you do, but it makes all those URLs you could never remember to type, pretty links to things that people need from you a lot. Forum grading, for example, if you grade a lot of forums, you can use them in your grading pane for the comments. If you write papers and you comment in, what's the mode in Word? Track changes. You can use it in track changes to type the things that you usually type all over and over. And not only does TextExpander remember the text, but you can make a snippet that is a certain color and a certain size and has links and other features. So for example, if I wanted to, you'll see over here, I like it when my TextExpander looks sort of simple. And I have grouped my snippets into these named groups so that if I needed to go find them, I can narrow down my search really quickly. If I remember it was a quote, I see, oh, that's right. For all my quotes, I have created a snippet, and my snippets for quotes start .q, accept change, .q, humankind, .q, imagination. And you'll see in this imagination quote, I have made the quote itself big and italic and black. And maybe I don't want to make it underlined because that makes it look like a link. I've put who it's by to the right aligned, and I've put a link to the place where I found it. So if you, for example, were going to create snippets for grading, maybe we create a group called grading, and I just leave all the defaults as is. And then within the grading group, this is how easy it is to create a new snippet. Let's say my discussion and participation grades are based on this rubric: outstanding, very good, good. I could start with what my rubric says. I just copied it. And we'll call this forum outstanding. I'll give an abbreviation FOUT. You can call it anything you want. And then this is real small. I'm gonna crop out the text. I grabbed the table by default, so. Mike, any tricks for getting rid of this sort of element in when you get a visible element you can't delete?
I apologize. I'm actually on just a phone, so I'm not. Okay. I can't see the screen. What's exactly happening?
I pasted a table cell into the content area, and I cut the text out of it, but I can't get rid of the table cell. Is there a code, a backup that you can see to just clear the whole snippet?
You know, I'm not sure without. Yeah, it's tough without seeing it there, but I know the tables can get it. Sometimes the formatting within TextExpander, you know, you mentioned like Microsoft Word. A lot of times what's best to do is create your formatting in whatever program you're using. Like if you want special formatting in Word, and then you can just copy and paste from Word into TextExpander when creating a snippet, and then it should all the formatting should stay the same.
Okay.
So I know that's kind of one trick with.
It's keeping the formatting, and I'm trying to get rid of it. So that's okay. So I pasted it into just Notepad, and it got rid of all the formatting for me. So you can start with this, and you can change it to well done. Your posts are highly interesting, original, relevant, you know, whatever you want. You can tweak this, or you can make it short, or you can make it long. Now, you might not want to say exactly this to every student, but if you paste this in whenever someone has done outstanding, got a 9 or a 10 on a forum post, you can then tweak it and say, okay, instead you answered the questions well or thoughtfully. So you might start with what's in your rubric if you're using it for a grading snippet, and then tweak it so it sounds the way you want your tone to sound. Again, we'll call it we'll give it an abbreviation. Just so I don't compete with that other one I created by accident. All right, and now you'll see I have two. I can just click on this one and I can delete it. But now if I go into Sakai, and I want to use that snippet in the forum grading comments in any which way, you can use it. For example, let me see if I have one available here in my sample class. I don't have any students in here, but you could click in the forum comment or in the gradebook comment, click it, type the word .f outstanding. Instead of having to type those full sentences over and over and over again, you have something to start with and you can tweak it. So do you guys have any sort of thoughts on what do you type over and over and over? The answer to a student question, instructions for how to do something. Anybody have any examples of the things that they could use it for? All right, maybe I can inspire. Go ahead, Karen.
I'm just saying it's just a whole new world to me. I mean, there's so many things I do over and over again, from, you know, responding to an initial inquiry from a student who wants to maybe perhaps make a request for accommodations. I do have some template language, and then I could go back in and add in, you know, the personal greetings and things like that. It would actually, to do dot whatever would be so much faster than searching for a previous email and copying most of the text out. And, you know, so I can see it in just in that. And also, as you've already described, in some grading that I do with some adjunct teaching that I do periodically.
So Bonnie, this is Mary Ann. I could actually see using this, as you had said, in terms of the grading, but I could also see in creating like the discussion forums in the course when I'm putting in text of saying, you know, here's kind of the expectation in terms of the level of your contribution or what I'm expecting in discussion forums that is similar from week to week to week in terms of the design of it. So I can see real good use of this in some of that repetitive actions.
Yeah, introduction to week one, instructions on how to convert, to make your PDF audio readable, Karen, how to download Read, Write, and Gold. I use mine, there's a million examples, and shout them out for sharing because everybody will use it in a different way. I have so many Zoom links for recurring meetings. And so I just make a snippet for each one. When Harold's having a meeting, I go to zoom.hh1. That's Harold Hale's meeting link. And when I have a meeting with Katie, I use Katie's Zoom link. And I don't have to go back to her email and find it or get a reminder. Of course, Zoom AT. I put this in on my Google Calendar events every time I email someone. So here I am in Google Calendar, and I start to invite the whole world to my new event. When in my location, I just typed out Zoom AT. And the link is in there all the time. All right, I don't have to remember my link. You'll see I also have it up here as a shortcut in my web browser, but that doesn't type it out. I also have one that's linked. This is just the text because Google Drive will link it. I'll show you some more examples that I use and see if that will help you. So I say, we have a YouTube video on how to do that. Here's how you get to our YouTube channel. I type .youtube site and the YouTube site links. People have trouble logging in the first time to Zoom. So I have 5, 6 sentences on instructions on how to log into Zoom. What else do I use a lot? I get asked about Office 365 all the time. It has nothing to do with AT, but instead of going and finding my email from Mike Spitzy that I've stored somewhere in my email and copying and pasting his reply, I put a TextExpander snippet in and I just type .0365 and all the instructions come out. When people were trying to learn Zoom and they were like, here is what a new online faculty might need to know to get started. This new problem is happening where people are opening Sakai, and I can show you, and they maximize everything and they lose all of their favorites bar and their toolbar down the left side because they've accidentally clicked this maximize button. So I have a graphic that I've circled and it says, it looks like you may have clicked the maximize button. Find the minimize button on your screen. It looks like this and click it and you'll get all your menus and things back. So the third time I have to start typing something, I generally start thinking to myself, okay, that's worthy of getting its own snippet. And so once I just feel the pain that third time that I've just answered this question and I can't find what I said last time, I think, okay, that should be a snippet. And then the next 5 things that I say, I catch on the first time saying, yep, someone's going to ask me that again. Yep, someone's going to ask me that again. And then I remember to make snippets. And then I come back in and reorganize them. So I have how to post your syllabus and all the very common things that people ask me. Is the font big enough? Can you guys see that okay? I should have asked a little while ago.
Looks fine.
Okay. Now, another really powerful tool, TextExpander has these public snippet groups that you can just download. So I have one called accented words. So that when I type the word brulee, B-R-U-L-E-E, I don't have to go figure out in Google or in Sakai or in Word how to add the accent. It just automatically adds it for me. And chateau and cliche. So I didn't have to make all these snippets. I just downloaded this group from the TextExpander website. And so now when I use these words without their accents, that's what all the snippets are, the accented version comes up. Now I don't use accented word a lot, but resume, and I often use the word creme brulee. It's part of my regular vocabulary. But that sort of thing is helpful. I do some programming, so they have some programming snippets. They have contractions. So if you don't type you type it without the contractions, it will automatically put in the apostrophe. They have Star Wars vocabulary and all sorts of different things certain people will be interested in. And it inspired me also to do a section on typos. There are words that I type wrong a lot. So the word and, I often mistype as A-D-N space. And then it comes back behind me and corrects it when I type it incorrectly. I don't have too many, but these are the ones that I know that I mistype the wrong way all the time. And everybody mistypes things differently. But what you do is you make the corrected word the snippet that expands, and you make the misspelling your abbreviation, so that when you type that incorrect, it automatically triggers TextExpander to expand it to the correct one.
And can it also like correct first names so that it's capitalized?
That's a
Like
good question, Mike. It is it
Yes.
can be case sensitive if you want it to be.
Yep. So like mine, I just create a snippet that, my name is Mike, obviously. So I create a snippet that the code, the abbreviation is just all lowercase M-I-K-E. So if I accidentally type that, it'll switch it to capital MIKE. So it won't pick up first names. You actually have to build the snippet in, but like the public groups that Bonnie was mentioning is a good resource. There's thousands of spelling corrections in there.
All right, so what I haven't showed you is the details of building a content snippet. There, under the content type, you can choose formatted text and pictures, or just plain text, or shell script, Apple script, or JavaScript. Most of you won't be using the scripting ones, but that allows you to, I have changed all of mine so they're all formatted text and pictures, because formatted text includes plain black text. And so I can always have plain black text, and I can have whatever formatting I add to the pile. So I won't go into detail on this, but TextExpander also has functions that allows you to build templates with variables. So you can they've made a template where they put today's date in it. And if I want to just open a new email and, make a formal email, and I type the word .date, it puts today's date here in that format. And if I do it tomorrow, it'll do tomorrow's date. And if I do the next day, it'll do the next day's date. So it doesn't have to be just plain text or formatted text. You can also use variables with TextExpander, and there's some great tutorials on how to do it. And they have some basic ones like your address. You put in your address or your telephone number, or your cell number. Some of you have seen my tutorials, and sometimes I need some fake text to fill in, say, a pretend forum post or a pretend lessons page. And I've just used loripsum.lipsum to generate 3 paragraphs of gobbledygook to fill the page to show an example rather than hand typing that out during a session. They have I'm running late, I'll be there soon. If you're running late, that's when you really need those fewer keystrokes. And you could send that in an email, or I use it in Hangouts on my phone, that sort of thing. And you can change. I have a long signature, and sometimes it's just too much. So I can highlight it, and I can just put in with a .sig. I can put my short text signature, so it's not the whole long thing that I sometimes send in there. And thank you very much is one of the built-in ones. So if you say that a lot, some might think that this would make your grading or your emails more transactional, less personal. But for me, what it does, it allows me to express, I'm sorry you're having trouble with that. Can you try emptying your cache and cookies? So it allows me to be transactional with getting people the information they need, but then it frees my mind up, and I don't get tired of writing the same email over and over and over again. I have plenty of energy left to ask the question that I might need to ask, or show concern for what people are struggling with, or those other sorts of things. I have people ask me for appointments all the time. So I have a snippet called When. A long time when I first started my job, I forgot to tell people I was in the Eastern time zone all the time. And so they would propose a meeting, and I'd accept the meeting, and then we'd find out they were talking Pacific time and I was talking Eastern time. So now I use my .when to make it clear I'm on Eastern time, when would be a good time for you to meet. And we don't have those little miscommunications as much as when I was doing it manually and, forgetting to add that or something like that. So there's a number of different positive outcomes from using it, in addition to simply saving you time and not having to retype the same things over and over. It also gives you free mind space to ask the other questions that need to be asked and to keep you from forgetting or leaving things out when you type the same thing over and over again. Would anybody like to see any specific examples or just brainstorm other ways you might use it?
Got a question though. In the
Go ahead.
content space, can you put in a tab character so that, let's say you're in Excel, you can tab through the cells?
So if you tab through the cells, Mike, does it do those formatting things? I mean, you'd have to
Yeah, so
type
under the
tab.
no, actually under the there's an icon there. Once you have the correct snippet and create you know, the formatted text and pictures and whatnot, there's a little keyboard icon or drop down when you're building a snippet, and there's a few keystrokes. So yes, you can enter, you know, if you're in Excel and you need to hit the tab keystroke, you know, 3 times, for example, you could enter three tab keystrokes and it would skip over 3 cells. I do the same thing for a lot of like my emails. You know, in a normal email, you type the subject line, hit tab, and then it skips down to the body of the email. With the TextExpander, you just insert a tab keystroke in there, and then you can do your subject line and your body of the email, personalize it there, everything in one spot, and it's way quicker.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. Why don't I jump over to my TextExpander website? I will sign into my account, and just so you guys know, there's a 30-day free trial of TextExpander. And what initially got me to sign up was the fact that I didn't have to put in all my credit card information in order to try it out and find out that I might not like it. So you can just sign in. There's no credit card required. You get a 30-day free trial. There's tutorials on how to set everything up. I found all the tutorials on their website, and they're on YouTube. And these are the snippet groups that I am using. This is my online view of my snippets. And you can come in here and reorganize these a little. And then forget how we get to the private snippets. It might be just up here. Mike, do you know where to find the public snippet groups from the website?
Yes, in fact, if you go to the support tab,
Okay.
on the home page, it says, should
Public
say support, and I'm just, yep, there you go. I'm just going
Okay.
off memory here.
Fabulous. Thanks. I appreciate that. I always have trouble finding that.
Yeah.
I don't think of it as being under public groups, but here are some additional public groups that you can download into your TextExpander instance. Autocorrect, Dutch autocorrect, French, contractions, Sanskrit, yoga pose names. I mean, autocorrect English, 5 snippets for recruiters. I wonder if there's a snippet thing for faculty. Probably not, but certainly that would be something we could build. And if you have the team snippets, or if we ever got enterprise version of snippets for all of Antioch, we could share our snippets with each other. So everybody in admissions could use all the same snippets. Everybody in your department could use or borrow your snippets and make them their own. So here's, for example, foreign thanks is a list of all the ways to say thank you in foreign languages. And you just subscribe to the group, and you'll see I have a new group here called Foreign Thanks, and I can open them all up and see what they come out. So if you work with people in a lot of different countries, you have the easy way to say thank you at your fingertips. And it goes on. So I think Mary Ann's suggestion was great. If you are building a forum and you want the same instructions posted in each forum topic, if you had a topic template and you expanded that every time and then you just customize the questions, that'd be great. What if your, for example, your course overview page, you had your entire course overview page, you copy it from this term, you make a snippet out of it, and then next year you just paste it into your overview page and voila, everything's there. You can still tweak it on a class by class basis, but you don't have to find it from another course, copy and paste it and bring it over. So Mike, I have a question for you. I haven't mentioned it explicitly, but you'll see I started all of my snippets with a period, .ert playlist, and I thought about it, and so occasionally that might be a problem if I ended a sentence and forgot to put the spaces in. Do you have an indicator or a starting suggestion for what you should start your snippets with?
Yeah, so we've actually got a couple articles on our blog that talk about this exact thing and best practices. Personally, my own personal snippets, I just start them with some character like an X or a semicolon, and then I type like a keyword. So
something you don't use
if
very often.
we get asked about correct. If I just I've got a snippet like about our pricing, for example. So I'm never going to type X pricing as one word unless I'm trying to recall that one snippet. So that's a pretty good trick. And then for some of our team stuff, like you mentioned, sharing snippets. So we've got a bunch of snippets for support. So we start a snippet with SUP dot, or for the marketing department, MKT dot. So that way they're easy to remember for one, or if I'm just looking at a snippet, I know right away what kind of snippet it is, if it's a sales snippet, a marketing snippet, etc. And then one other thing I'd point out, and Bonnie, I'm not sure if you've experimented with this, but the search function, it's really easy to search through all your snippets that you have access to by keyword. If you hit on PC, it's Control / wherever you're typing, and then a little box will come up, and you can just start typing in multiple keywords, and it'll continue to narrow down all your snippets that have those keywords in it.
Okay, so let me / maybe that's a backslash, / and then start typing. Nothing's coming up in mine.
Okay, are you on the PC version?
I'm on the PC version. I'm in my Gmail, and do I need to hit a control, or is it just period and then?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Try to, wherever you want to pull up a snippet, just type or hold Control and then the /, so the same as the question mark, and then an inline search should pop up. This is when I wish I could see your screen.
Nope, it did. I wasn't holding Control. I thought you said period. Maybe I was just thinking. So yeah, this is how I search my snippets. So I can search it for cash, and I can see which message do I want to use and pick it up. So that is a great tip that I will now use forever and ever. Control / So, all right. Well, I will offer my help for anybody who wants to try their 30-day trial with TextExpander. I ended up purchasing a 1-year license, and I have really put it to use. I think I've been using it for 6 months now. I've saved well over 12 hours worth of time. And I will say I do use it on my phone as well, and I share that it's the same account. So on my phone, you set it up a little bit differently, but when I'm answering an email from my phone, I just click my TextExpander keyboard and I can pick from my snippets to put in a TextExpander phone email. it's all part of the same account. It's only one license, and their licensing fee it's $3.33 a month if you purchase an annual license, which I think comes out to $39.99. And if you listen to the Teaching and Higher Ed podcast, they do offer a promo code, so you could get 20% off your first year if you end up signing up for the year-long license. And I found that it has saved me mistakes. It has saved me time and frustration enough that the $32 or $40 in a year makes it totally worth all the other value I can add to my emails when I don't have to spend all that time typing the repeated duplicate stuff all the time. And of course, email is a huge part of my life. It may not be email for you. It might be building courses in Sakai. It might be grading in Sakai. It might even be useful in self-service where you do your narrative evaluations. If you are responding to people's papers and you type the same things on them all the time, like check the APA citation style, this isn't correct, or do you have a citation for this, or anything that you might comment on over and over and over. I mean, even down to fun things like inspirational quotes. If if your students need a little inspiration, direction, cheering up, and you have an easy snippet quote or one that's relevant to your teaching area or your work area that you want to include, the easier you make it, the more often you'll use it. I know Tan and Suzanne are both staff, I believe, at their campuses. Can you guys envision or any use for this in your office? Suzanne, your program coordinator, I imagine you type the same thing to your faculty over and over and over.
Yes.
Or
And there's oh my God. I mean, there's definitely some applications that I could see this really working in. So especially when I'm trying to do, if there's something that that I need to do again and again, I can see it happening and being helpful.
Yeah, and a good portion of your work is doing the same things again and again. This semester and again next semester and again the next semester, or this new student, this new student, this new student, new faculty, the information they might need, or how, please get me your course information so I can put it in colleague, or.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So I could see it. I mean, and it's the kind of thing that now I understand what the capabilities are. I have to start thinking about what applications it could be useful in.
Right. So I would say in one case, Gmail has templates for email so that when you type a new email, you can just pick one of the templates that you've saved before and used, and that's all well and good. But if you need to do multiple things, if you need to mix multiple snippets, you can't do that in Gmail templates. So TextExpander gives you this very mix and match approach. You can put it in almost any application that you might be typing in. Anything you type in, you can use it in Excel and Word and Google Docs and Google Slides, in website forms. So a lot of website forms will remember your address for you, so you don't have to type it in. I would probably not recommend using it for things like credit card numbers. But you could keep, the first 3 sections of your credit card number in it, and then you only have to remember the last 4 digits. I don't know, Mike, what do you think about using it for saving a password?
So people do that, but we pretty much have to say we don't recommend it. Just saving any sensitive information.
Yeah.
We're obviously really secure. There's large banks, PayPal, Amazon, Facebook. I mean, these large companies, we've gone through all sorts of security reviews, so it's very safe. But yeah, we still can't say, to save any personal information.
Yeah, it's not a bad practice because of using it with TextExpander. It's just a bad practice because you shouldn't use it with any tool. You shouldn't store your passwords and financial information that way in any computer-based tool.
And is it also because
Yep, correct.
is it also because your snippets are saved to the cloud?
So yeah, so because of the sharing features and you know, a lot of the team version, you know, it is to your point, it is to the cloud. So the templates are saved to the cloud, but any information that you enter in, like a fill-in, so you know, if you address a student by name, you know, that information that you're filling out the snippets or typing into the snippets as you expand them, that is not saved. It's just the templates. So there again, that's why we don't necessarily recommend it.
Okay. That's great. So Tan and Suzanne, I'm happy to let you go, but I'm also happy to stay on if you have additional questions, or if you wanted to share your screen and sign up for your 30-day trial. I can help you download the software and install, you know, create your first snippet. Or if you're not really ready to do that now, that's okay as well.
Well, you know what's funny is I've had the software for 9 months already, and I've never used it.
Okay.
You know, I don't write in English most of the time. I'm a programmer,
Yeah.
so you know, it's just code.
Yeah, well, and I use it for code. I use it for my CFML code and my HTML and CSS code. I have my snippets built into HomeSite, which is 100 years old and going away. But now I'm transferring all my snippets over into my TextExpander account, so that you have to be careful with the punctuation. You have to choose your abbreviations carefully if you're using a whole lot of, and I would use the plain text version of snippets. But let me see if I have my CFML templates in here. Here's my HTML ones. So right now it's just ampersand non-breaking space. Instead of typing this all the time, but I have like a new form, form replies, a CF query statement, all of those little snippets that I use in my programming app. And I've created a separate document, and I'm going to import it into here so that I can use it for programming. So I think it's better probably for longer code snippets of a line with a bunch of pieces to it, so that you get all the formatting right, or like my basic CSS style. Blink, plop that in there, and I don't have to hand type it. If your programming tool has all those snippets in there for you, but I found a lot of them, you have to dig around and click the buttons. And if I could just make them a text snippet, and I don't have to use my mouse every 5 seconds to click the CF query tag and then the table tag and then the list tag, using the text snippets is much faster.
Yeah, I see the potential for that.
It really depends on the functionality of your editor. I mean, if you're editing in Notepad, there's no helper tools. If you're editing in, you know, Dreamweaver, or, you know, I don't know if you use Visual Basic or what you're programming with. I use Excel formulas too. The Excel formulas that I use over and over, like date format and things like that, they're good as snippets. So I don't have to remember them as much. So, all right, I will stop the recording, but if you have any questions or anybody wants help with it, go ahead and give us an email at at@antioch.edu, and we'll help get you started.
Thanks, Bonnie.